Attention passionate Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Pittsburgh Steelers' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Pittsburgh Steelers fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. What if I told you that the Steelers are on the verge of making a move that could reshape their entire secondary and elevate their chances to contend deep into the playoffs? That's exactly what's being whispered around NFL circles right now. The Steelers, sitting comfortably at 7-6 and leading the AFC North, are eyeing a potential blockbuster trade that could bring in a shutdown corner who's been making waves across the league. And this isn't just about filling a need. It's about transforming their entire defense into a lockdown unit, reminiscent of the legendary Steel Curtain days. The player in question is Jaylon Johnson, currently a top-tier cornerback with the Chicago Bears. Rumors suggest that the Bears, currently mired in a tank mode at 3-10 after a rough season and focusing on rebuilding their roster, particularly their secondary, are open to trading Johnson. Why? Well, the Bears are in a tough cap situation, about $5 million over in 2026, and they're prioritizing protecting their young quarterback, Caleb Williams. Williams, despite flashes of brilliance, has struggled with turnovers, 15 touchdowns against 12 interceptions in 2025, and the Bears see a rebuild as the best way forward. Trading Johnson, a proven shutdown corner, for a first-round swap in 2026 and a fifth-round pick makes sense financially and strategically for Chicago. Now Johnson is no ordinary corner. At just 26 years old, he's already established himself as one of the league's elite covering corners. His 2025 season was outstanding: 5 interceptions, 12 pass deflections, and a PFF grade of 91. Putting him among the top 2 corners in the league. He's allowed a catch rate of only 48%, with an EPA per target of -0.42, which is elite. Since entering the league in 2020, Johnson has accumulated 12 interceptions and 45 pass deflections, earning an All-Pro nod in 2024 with 6 picks and 2 defensive touchdowns. He's a guy who can lock down the best receivers, and he's shown resilience despite a shoulder injury that caused him to miss 1 game in 2025. Advanced metrics like next-gen stats show he averages just 2-3 yards per separation in coverage and allows YAC, yards after catch, of only 4. 1 yards mirror images of the peak Jalen Ramsey, who's been considered one of the best shutdown corners in recent years. For the Bears, this trade makes a lot of sense. Their cap situation is tight, with about $5 million over in 2026, and they're heavily investing in their offensive line to protect Caleb Williams, who's been sacked 42 times this season. Without Johnson, their secondary collapses into the bottom 5 in the league, which makes their defensive struggles even more glaring. Their defense, allowing an average of 29 points per game and ranking 28th overall, just isn't good enough to make a playoff push, especially when they're trying to develop their young QB and stay competitive. For the Steelers, this potential trade is a game changer. Adding Johnson would pair him with Patrick Peterson and the emerging Cam Sutton, forming a trio of cornerbacks that could be as close to lockdown as you'll see in the league today. Remember Pierre's injury, an ACL tear in Week 8, left a hole in the secondary, and now Johnson's addition would turn what was a decent pass defense into a formidable no-fly zone 2-0. Reminiscent of the dominant 2015 Broncos secondary that racked up 18 interceptions on their Super Bowl winning run. Imagine Johnson lining up across from the opponent's top receiver, controlling the game's air attack, and allowing the Steelers' pass rush to pin their ears back and get after the quarterback. And speaking of the pass rush, it's worth noting that the Steelers' front 7 has been solid, but the secondary's ability to lock down in key moments has been inconsistent. Johnson's addition would not only help in coverage, but also boost the Steelers' overall defensive efficiency. Their current yards allowed per game in passing, around 215, could be reduced even further, perhaps down to 180 yards, which would significantly improve their chances of closing out games. The projected boost in turnovers, going from about 1-2 per game to nearly 1-8, could be the difference maker in tight matchups down the stretch. Now the impact on the team's overall strategy is significant. With Johnson, the Steelers could focus on locking down the best receivers, freeing up their safeties to play more aggressively and creating more turnovers. This would give quarterback Kenny Pickett more manageable third downs, shorter fields, and more scoring opportunities. The chemistry with Porter Jr., who logged 4 interceptions in 2025, and Ramsey, who's been a top corner when healthy, would turn the secondary into a true strength rather than a weakness. The statistics speak volumes here. For instance, in 2024, certain of the Denver Broncos elevated his team's coverage snaps to elite levels, contributing heavily to their defense. Johnson, with his recent performance, could do the same for the Steelers, turning their pass defense from a middle-of-the-road unit into a top-5 squad. This kind of upgrade is exactly what Pittsburgh needs if they want to make a real push into the postseason. Their chances of clinching the division and making a deep playoff run depend heavily on their pass defense holding up against prolific offenses like those led by Patrick Mahomes, who's amassed over 500 yards passing this season. And let's talk about the playoff implications. Johnson's presence on the field could raise the Steelers' chances of winning close games, especially in high-stakes moments. His 3 career playoff pass deflections and his ability to neutralize top receivers like Tyreek Hill, who had over 200 yards in 2023, make him an X-factor in critical moments. According to PFF simulations, having Johnson in your secondary could push the Steelers' chances of winning playoff games from around 48% to as high as 65%. That's a massive boost, and it's precisely the kind of move that could vault Pittsburgh back into Super Bowl contention. Of course, such a trade isn't just about immediate gains. It's a statement to the league and an indication that the Steelers are all in for a deep playoff run. It's about crafting a secondary that echoes the legendary steel curtain of the 1970s, a unit that was feared across the league, and setting the foundation for sustained dominance. The Steelers, after all, have a history of building tough, resilient teams that can shut down even the most potent offenses. Now, with Johnson potentially joining the fold, they're poised to do just that once again. In conclusion, this trade rumor is more than just speculation. It's a signal that the Steelers are willing to go all out to secure a championship window. Whether it materializes or not, the idea of adding Jalen Johnson to their secondary sparks hope among fans that the team is aiming for nothing less than a return to elite status, ready to challenge the best in the AFC and beyond. The AFC North has always been a tough division, but a move like this could tilt the balance, making the Steelers not just contenders but favorites in the postseason. Pause here, just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Pittsburgh Steelers news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. So what do you think, Steelers Nation? Are we on the verge of snapping up one of the league's top shutdown corners? Could this be the move that finally puts us over the top and back in the Super Bowl hunt? I want to hear your thoughts. Drop your comments below. Your opinion really matters to us and to the Steelers. We're all in this together, and I'll be back soon with more updates, so make sure to stay tuned for the latest Steelers news. Keep the faith and let's go Steelers.